If you want an extraordinary life, then you need to do things differently. Let's get wiser together. Let's just dive straight in with today's wisdom. If you want different results, then you have to be willing to do things differently. Pioneers don't just follow the path, they create it. And before they're called brilliant, they're often called strange. Let's look at a visual that very much sums up this principle of wisdom. You need to do things differently. Being a pioneer is often about being different, breaking the rules, maybe going in a different direction or looking out of place. At first it seems wrong, in fact many would call them foolish, but often it's the odd one out that has that breakthrough. So the question is, are you willing to go against the grain? Let's look at a saying that complements today's principle of wisdom, and it's the perfect accompanying quote for today. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. That comes courtesy of George Bernard Shaw. Even though George's words should be used with caution here, he might have a point. Progress rarely comes from fitting in. It actually comes from those who are willing to challenge the norm, even when it makes them look out of place. Let's unpack this further with today's explanation. There's a moment where every pioneer experiences that discomfort. It's the moment where what you're doing doesn't quite make sense to anybody else. You're trying to do something new, something different, taking the path that hasn't really been proven yet. And from the outside, it can look odd. That's the tension, right? The same behavior that later gets applauded as genius often looks like foolishness in the beginning. If you're building something meaningful, whether that's a business, a career, a creative venture, a relationship, you'll likely have to face that moment too. And so today I want to encourage you, if you are trying to do things differently, here are 3 ways to lean into it. The first is to expect to feel out of place. If you're doing something different, you won't feel like everyone else. That's not a problem, but it's a signal that you're often doing something new. The second thing is to separate the noise from insight. Not all criticism is equal. Some feedback is helpful, but much of it comes from people who haven't walked in your shoes. So learn to filter wisely. And then thirdly, stay long enough to be understood. Most overnight successes spent years looking unconventional. Consistency gives your different approach time to prove itself. So being a pioneer isn't about just being different for the sake of it. It's an intentional way to approach things. If you want to unpack this further and see how it fits into your life, here are 3 journal prompts to get you started. The first is, where in my life am I playing it safe when I could be thinking differently? The second is, what idea or approach have I dismissed because it might look weird to others? And then the third is, am I building something that stands out or something that just blends in? If you want to learn more about the life-changing habit of journaling, check out journalwiser.com. But for now, let's move on to today's resource. And it's one of my favorite newsletters. Every week, the pioneering Jay Yang shares a bite-sized newsletter packed with value for anybody looking to design a purposeful life. For those of you that don't know Jay, he's a 20-year-old entrepreneur who has managed to work with the likes of Noah Kagan, Alex and Layla Hormozi, and many, many more. He's an extraordinary example of someone who is doing things different and having remarkable results. He very much started out doing visuals, not dissimilar to myself, but has gone on to create a copywriting agency. He's had a book, an Amazon bestseller, and he's just getting started. So if you want to learn more from someone who is doing things differently to great success, and I recommend checking out The Spark, his newsletter. His newsletter is a perfect complement to today's principle of wisdom, featuring timeless, practical ideas on strategy, marketing, and basically just building a life on your own terms. If you want to subscribe, check out the link in the description, and thank you for watching Wiser. If you enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing, and don't forget to check out wisernewsletter.com, where I send out these insights each and every week via email. And don't forget to check out this playlist here for more videos. Thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one.